One. Okay, we are live, and good morning, everybody. My name is Heshy Friedman, and I am the founder of the RBBN. The RBBN stands for the Rockland Business Breakfast Network. We started off in Rockland, and we met every month in person. And these days, we've been on Zoom, and we've gotten a lot more people from other places beyond Rockland during the pandemic. So here we are now in on Zoom as well. I do want to mention that now with the weather warming up, with people getting vaccinated, with many people having gotten corona already, I think many people are ready to start doing safely in person. We can start off with small groups, maybe start off outdoors. We'll have to figure this out, but I think people are ready to start meeting in a limited way in person. So we're gonna start giving that some consideration. I think we're gonna continue this format as well on Zoom because we can have a broader audience. So just want to put that out there and keep that in mind. The RBBN was founded about 2 years ago, and the idea is really just a format for people and business professionals to network with each other, to meet each other, to share ideas, and people looking for jobs, all these things really. And there's much business has been made from this, and we hope to continue being successful on this. I want to take a moment to shout out to Yitzie, who is really my right-hand man, and he gets this project done. He makes sure the RBBN happens. He does all the behind the scenes to make sure that it takes place, setting the date, getting the speakers, getting the details of the programs, getting all the emails out. So thank you, Yitzie.
Speaking of speakers, where is our speaker?
He told me he might come a little late, which is fine, but he's going to miss out on the networking component of the event. Okay, with that in mind, I want to also tell everybody to fill out. Look at the comments. Whoever didn't fill out, we have a shared Google Doc with everybody who attended the event. Anybody who registered is in this sheet. Especially if you're new, fill out your information, your phone number, your website address, your LinkedIn address. So this way, everybody can follow up with you afterwards and be in touch with you, so they have your information. This is the key. The key to the networking is going to be the follow-up. You want to see who gave that introduction and who spoke, and then you'll be able to connect with them after that by seeing their information in the sheet. Make sure your camera's on for all those whose camera isn't on. And Yitzie, right now, he started a new pod. I'm going to give him the spotlight just to tell everybody about this and just go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, we're starting a LinkedIn engagement pod for anyone to post their posts on LinkedIn to get engagement. We're not going to force anyone into the pod, but if you want to join the pod, then in the yellow column on the spreadsheet, just write the word yes, and I will add you into the pod later on. And only those who said yes will be put on the pod.
Why don't you explain what it's for? Like what
I was just going to ask.
Okay, thank you. Blah 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 blah. Basically, it's a way when you create a post on LinkedIn, you want to gain traction on it. So by giving a heads up to people that this post is up there, please comment, engage, and like the post. Those comments and engagement will boost it, and other networks will see it, and then your post will get more traction to it. And it's a way of giving and receiving. So someone likes your post, you like their post back, and go back and forth in it and help each other out.
All right, thanks. Okay, again, everybody, put all your information in that sheet there. And at this point, we're going to start going through all the people in the. Well, let's start off with the new people. The idea is everybody will give a 10 to 15 second introduction of who they are, what they do, what type of lead they're looking for.
I think you give them 30 seconds.
You want to give them a little longer?
Yeah, give them 30 seconds. You have like 20 some odd people.
Okay, fine. Yitzie says we have 25 people, so we have more. You can give instead of 15. Make it a little longer. Okay, but again,
it's a whole 13 minutes.
Because we want to keep the program moving. So let's keep that in mind. Just who you are, say your name, company name, who you're looking for, what you do, and without further ado, I'm going to remove my spotlight. I'm going to remove Yitzie's spotlight. How come I can't remove your spotlight? I think I just did. And we're going to start off with our new attendees. Let's go ahead. Okay, let's go through the list here. Ali Nathaniel, you are first. I don't know if I pronounced your last name correctly. So if I didn't, please correct me and let us know what you do. And welcome to.
Okay, you can say Nathaniel or Nathaniel. So hi everyone, I'm Ali Nathaniel, and I'm looking to connect with people who have eczema, allergies, etc., because I can help you replace all the toxins in your house with better natural products. Yes, we do have a kosher certificate, so I'd love to connect with you face to face to learn more about your business and share mine, and I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What's the name of your company, Ali?
Oh, Melaluka.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's see another some new people here. Bela Feigenbaum, I don't think you've been here before. Is that correct?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, correct.
Okay,
My
go
name
for
is
it.
Bela Feigenbaum. I've been selling insurance for over 17 years, all types of insurance, auto, home, commercial, life insurance in many different states. And I specialize in life insurance, specifically if you have an existing policy, to review it and see what better coverages we can do for you. And a potential referral would be anyone who has insurance.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome to the RBBN.
Thank you.
Let's find somebody else new here. Let's see here. Maggie Carey, I believe you're new. Welcome. Why don't you tell us all about yourself?
Thank you. My name is Maggie Carey, and I am the CEO of Master Media. I educate businesses on developing an engaging social media presence to build an audience of raving fans. Our social media services provide businesses with a month of customized branded social media content with an investment of only 30 minutes a month. We focus on your business while you focus on your social media.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other new people here? Oh, Michelle Alfano, I believe you're new as well.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Introduce yourself, please.
Nice to meet you. Michelle Alfano of Michelle Alfano Design. I'm a space influencer. So when you walk into your house, does it feel relaxing after a long, stressful day? Is there something in your home that just irks you and you wish you could change it? Are you ready for a transformation? I can help you. Specializing in interior architecture for the warm modern home, I create space plans while applying my signature style, poetic modernism. Want to know more about it? Give me a call. I serve Rockland, Westchester, New York City, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Okay, anyone else new here? Let's see.
Markovich?
Where?
Aria Markovich.
Ari Markovich. Okay, go for it, Ari. Welcome. Ari Markovich, please introduce yourself. Three, two, one. You're on mute. Oh, there. Okay, we see you're on mute. Arya, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi, Arya Markovich. What would you like me to say?
Introduce yourself. What you do. What your typical preference would be for a lead. What's a good lead for you?
Okay. I am a president of 5 Towns Printing, and we do traditional printing like brochures, posters, poster hanging. We do promotional products. We do apparel, customized apparel, and we do signage like banners and things like that. Good lead for me would be anybody who wants to market themselves effectively, get good ideas, very good updated website, and we help people grow their business.
Okay, thank you very much, and make sure to put your information in the sheet so we have all your contact info. Thank you very much. Okay, Yitzie, anyone else new that you see here?
I think Jack Schwartz is also new here.
Jack, welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm actually not new, but I am an attorney and insurance consultant, which means I do not sell insurance, but I provide insurance advice and expertise to companies looking for an outsourced, objective perspective on insurance.
Okay, thank you, Jack, and welcome. Anyone else? Yitzi, anyone else, or should we just go through the regular?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go through the list here that I have in Zoom. So I apologize for there's no alphabetical order here. We're just going to randomly pick people to speak and introduce themselves. So the first one on my Zoom list right here is Joshua Scheinberg. So please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Josh Jesse Scheinberg. You may know me on LinkedIn for the Monday morning music videos I put out for the past year. But I keep the lights on at Safran Associates as an employee benefits broker. I handle nursing homes. I've been in the business about almost 20 years. I handle nursing homes nationally, corporations, and really businesses from the ground up. If you have 2 employees and are thinking about employee benefits, or you have 3,000 employees and you're looking for ways to either attract and retain employees or find other means of funding your employee benefits, speak to me. Groups not too small, not too large. We'll help everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Ali. Oh, Ali, we got you. John Aramini, go for it.
Oh, good morning, everyone. My name is John Aramini. I own Aramini Management. We've been in business now 16 years. We started in 2005. What we are is a business and management consulting practice. We get under the hood to determine the root causes of really what's going on at your organization that's affecting your ability to meet your goals. The typical things that people come to us with challenges, their volume's down, they're not getting the growth they like, or their teams work in silos, or they're not teams then, but the management team works in silos. We help really work through that to get through it. What qualifies us? Myself personally, 35 years business experience. I've been in the trenches. I've been a supervisor, director. I've been in the meat grinder, meaning I know the reality of what it's like to deal with strategy from above and then executing at the level. So I tell people when I consult, I said, don't BS me. I kind of been there. So just tell me the truth and we'll figure it all out. I don't do anything off the shelf. I customize everything. So if there's anything particular keeping you up at night, give me a call, no obligation, and we'll talk. And John Aramini Management, we're in Franklin Lakes. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yehuda, welcome. I don't think you've been on the gallery, the Zoom.
I'm new to virtual. I'm new to virtual. I'm not new to RBBN.
Yeah, Yehuda's been.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Yehuda Greenberg. Step Forward Marketing consultants. When businesses waste tons of money, and the reason is that they waste money on marketing because they find that marketing professionals don't necessarily understand what makes their business tick and why people should buy from them. So I close that gap by developing a core marketing strategy before you go to marketing agencies, and you're able to persuade customers that way. My most recent customer was able to sell out his product in 2 weeks after going through this program. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Yehuda. And welcome virtually.
Yep.
Okay. Ken Goffstein, welcome.
Hi, good morning. Ken Goffstein. I'm a mortgage lender with Fairway Independent Mortgage. I've been in the business many years, used to have my own shop. I've been working for Fairway for about the last 10 years now. We are running a spectacular operation right now. We did over 65 billion in 2020, which is almost 50% increase from 2019. And despite the current volume and situation, we're still closing loans in less than 21 days. So I'm just looking to network anybody, basically anybody that needs financing, financial planners, accountants, lawyers, real estate agents. I run the whole gamut, and just hoping to continue to increase the networking here. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to, if I may, to, oh boy, now I forgot who I wanted to shout out to. Okay, never mind. I'll get back to that.
Get back to it. You give the shout out when it gets back to your head.
Mickey Cohen. I'm sorry, Mickey Cohen. Mickey Cohen is Chaveri Mavtinek. Is he on the call? I'm not sure.
He's there, yes.
Okay, Mickey, thank you. You got me out of the snow about 3 weeks ago, and so I'm giving you a public shout out for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Max Callis, all the way from Toronto. I think we have more snow than you here in New York, but we beat you this year. But Tell us about what you do.
That's possible, although it snowed last night. So we got about 20 centimeters last night. So now we have snow too, because we were feeling left out.
We don't even know what centimeters are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exact. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know, what is that, like 7-8 inches of snow? All right, Max Callis from Smarter Leads, digital marketer. I help businesses generate leads on the internet using paid advertising. So I specialize in mainly Facebook ads and Google ads. And then, LinkedIn, Pinterest, some of the Bing, some of the smaller ones as well. But the two big ones are Facebook and Google. And so if you're looking to generate more leads or sales using the internet, then I'd be happy to provide an audit on your account.
Okay, thank you, Max. All right, Marty Boltax with the giraffes. Marty's at the zoo. You're muted, Marty, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Achieving greater heights. Yes.
Okay.
Marty Boltax. I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor. Right now, I'm shifting into working with developmentally disabled individuals. It's a bit of a challenge given the communication issue there is now. But if you have any organizations or individuals who might want to contact me and see if I can be of any assistance, would love to do that. Also open to any suggestions that those of you who are really much more technically competent in doing this type of communication can share with me so I could be more productive in this would be much appreciated. Marty Boltax, Benefrime Endeavors is the name of the outfit.
Thank you, Marty. What's the significance of the giraffes?
As I said before, my thought was I want to achieve greater heights. And someone said to me that the people that you associate with or the groups that you associate with are very, very important. So I'm giving this a try.
Okay. Whatever works, right? Okay.
Right.
Nick Davidson, welcome, Nick. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Heshy. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Nick Davidson from the Smart Solutions Group. We help anything from people to process, structure to scaling. Businesses accomplish what they want to. With CEOs, we help them get out of the weeds and be able to go back to being the entrepreneur. Two things we're looking for. The first thing right now is we need some help in terms of project managers to help us execute against the strategic plans in place. So if anybody knows any great project managers or process folks, other resources that can help us, that's great. And of course, if you have businesses that are in need of scaling, that can work too. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Nick. All right, Yitzie Hammelberger, welcome. Good to see you again.
Yeah, happy to be here. My name is Yitzie Hammelberger. I run Search Pro's SEO. Basically, your website is your best and your best salesperson. And at Search Pros, what we do is we help turn your website into this long-term lead generating machine. We do that through updating the actual website itself, creating new content, and if you're out, I'm looking for to work with small businesses, e-commerce websites, and even other branding and web agencies looking to add SEO to their profile. And finally, if you're interested, I can help run a quick 5-minute opportunity analysis just to see how much traffic your website can potentially get.
All right, thank you, Yitzie. All right, next we have Michael Spielsinger. Welcome here, welcome online. Good to see you.
Thank you, Heshy. My name is Michael Spielsinger, and I help men evolve themselves to become healthier and more fit. I myself changed my lifestyle and lost 65 pounds without any special diet or exercise program, no supplements, no gimmicks. It's just a mindful type of approach. And I'd like to help other men in their 30s to 50s do the same. Also, I'm looking to connect with people in the digital and social marketing space that can help me in marketing a series of books that I was asked to promote. Thank you.
Before we continue, if anyone did not fill out the sheet, for those who came in late, please click on the link that I'm going to share in a moment and fill out your information on the spreadsheet so everyone can have it.
Okay.
Back to you, Heshy.
Thank you. Okay, all the way from Jerusalem, Israel. Yehuda Freilich, how are you? By the way, how's your snow? I hear even there they're getting snow. You're muted, Yehuda, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please. Yehuda, you're muted. We don't hear you.
Okay, great to join everyone. Till yesterday, we had a beautiful summer weather over here in Israel. We're hoping to get some snow in Jerusalem tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. I'm so happy to join, and I just want to shout out to everyone over here, especially to the new ones who joined us, and also say that through this networking group, I put together quite a few nice deals with Heshy and with Yitzie and with Nick Davidson and some others. So this is a great group, and let's keep it going. What do I do? So I run a company called Outsourcing to Israel. And if you're looking for part-time help, you're looking for an administrative assistant, you're looking for customer service, someone to help you with social media or with technology, we'll help you find the right person from our network in Israel. We have a large network of Americans living in Israel, over 10,000 people, and we'll help you find the right person to work for you from Israel.
All right. Thank you, Yehuda. And welcome from all the way on the other side of the globe. Okay. Next, we have Ann Genovese. Welcome. Thanks for joining again. You're on mute, though. Okay, there you go.
Yes, I unmuted.
Okay.
I am Ann Genovese. I'm a registered nurse and I co-own Lily Martin Care. We are a private concierge home healthcare company helping families find caregivers and caregivers find families. My ask today is if anyone can connect me to, I can't speak today, sorry. If anyone can connect me with a case manager or discharge planner or a doctor of a facility, rehab, hospital, or doctor's office, especially in New York City. Ann Genovese at Lily Martin Care. We put the care back in home care.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, next we have Mickey. Before Mickey will let Mickey speak, you know, not only is he helping out the Chaverim and Tinek like we just heard from Ken, but Mickey really does. He's always promoting this event. He's always shouting out. He's always putting posts up about this event. So Mickey, we really appreciate all you do, and want to just give you a special recognition and a special shout out for everything that you do. Thank you very much. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Mickey. Wow, I have a lot of big shoes to fill now. I was there at the right time, the right place. But yeah, it's great giving service and giving back to the people. It's an amazing thing. And it keeps yourself busy. So when I'm busy, it keeps me out of trouble. So it's usually a good thing. Anyway, my name is Mickey Cohn. I call myself the phone guy because I'm dealing with phone systems. There's three things I deal with: voice, data, cloud-based services, unifying communications for companies. So basically, I could help you better your customer service. My sweet spot is any company from 10 to 50 office employees. But if it's something larger or smaller, I will still take the time to talk to you. Because a sale is a sale. Alrighty, thanks. Thanks for letting me check in.
Nice job. Okay, you know what? I always put Yitzie last, Yitzie Pariser, but hey, you're part of the group here, and there's no reason not to promote yourself and promote our company, and it doesn't mean we both can't speak together. So go ahead, Yitzie. Why don't you tell us what you do?
You know, part of delegating responsibilities is to have you do that, right?
I'll do it also. I'll do that at the end.
Okay, my name is Yitzie Pariser. I like throwing parties, and you know, we throw parties here once a month on LinkedIn, on what are we on? Zoom now? Zoom, LinkedIn. We have parties in the office every time when we have a new client sign a contract of ours for websites, for LinkedIn training, and we want to throw a party for you too. So if you need a website, you need help with LinkedIn, then give us a call, sign a contract, we'll throw you a party, and we'll get the job done right.
Okay.
If anyone's in Muncie on Purim, please reach out to me. I'm having a Purim party in my house Purim day. Purim masks are required. So please reach out to me and I'll send you those details. Yeah, back to you guys.
Are you offering airfare? Yitzie, are you going to fly people in from?
No, I'm not flying people in. I'm sorry. Maybe next year.
Okay.
Those who can't make it to your Purim party, can you do a Zoom?
Not on Purim.
Zoom is going to close down his account once he's
not on Purim. Nope.
Okay. Thank you, Yitzie. Shmuel Septimus. Shmuel, welcome online here. And again, Shmuel and I, from just doing networking together, we've been doing a lot of mutual business both directions. With me referring to Shmuel business, Shmuel referring me business. That's just the power of networking. So without further ado, Shmuel, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Heshy, and it's definitely a pleasure working with your company. I'm the host of the Nursing Home Podcast, so we focus very much on this industry. And right now, the way we can help anyone who sells to the nursing home industry is through promoting them on the podcast. Podcast just hit 20,000 downloads. Very proud of that. It's really filling a need in the nursing home space. So if you or some you know can benefit by getting that level of exposure, by all means reach out to me. Additionally, we help those who sell to the nursing home space, and even those who don't, to help them be successful online through the same tactics, the same interview tactics that we use on the podcast. So again, if you sell to nursing homes or you need help with your LinkedIn content creation to actually generate real leads, please reach out to me.
All right. Thank you, Shmuel. Okay, next we have Sruli Nyman. Sruli, I'm impressed you're here the first quarter of 2021. Sruli's happens to be my accountant as well for many years, and was part of our original networking group. So I see you do have a little beard. Maybe that's this time of year without having the time to shave.
Well, no, I had the mask on. I didn't realize what was going on underneath the mask. But so thank you very much, Heshy. It's Sruli Nyman here. I'm a CPA, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. And we service individuals and businesses of all types, S corps, LLCs, et cetera. This time of year, we're doing a lot of PPP, as we did just 9-10 months ago. Now it's round 2, or if you didn't have it before, you can get one now, possibly. And also, of course, filing tax returns for 2020, including those who may or may not have gotten the full stimulus payments on the 2020 tax return. Some people may not have been eligible for one reason or another, but on the 2020 tax return is where the IRS is now reconciling all the payments. So if your income maybe had gone down now and you were not eligible before, you will be able to get that first and second payment. So there's just something to keep in mind. Sruli Nyman, CPA.
All right, thank you, Sruli. All right, next we have Stephanie Chapman. Stephanie, welcome. Your camera's off, but hopefully you're still there.
I'm going to speak for her because
Okay.
she's here to pay attention, but she's feeling a little under the weather. So here I go. I'm Steph. Okay. As a psychotherapist, I love helping people. That helping instinct in me crossed over to the real estate market, and now it's my new passion. Whether it's helping my buyers purchase a home at the best price, selling their home at the highest price, finding investment properties for my investors, it's my fiduciary duty to make sure your money is spent or saved wisely. The best feeling for me is seeing my clients being represented with the highest caliber and negotiating skills and handing a key over to them. Stephanie Chapman, awesome realtor.
Thank you, Anne.
Oh, there she is.
This is the real Stephanie, and thank you so much to Anne for doing that for me today.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's all about helping the other person. That's how we.
That's right.
There. So, okay, Ellie Schneider, welcome. You're on. We don't see your picture there, but welcome.
Hi. I'm having trouble with my audio, my video at the moment, so I apologize. I don't have a free USB port to plug it into. So yeah, I'm an engineer working for I own an engineering firm. We do architecture and engineering. We do my catch line is always I do from houses to power plants and pretty much anything in between. So there's almost no solution that we cannot solve. If we don't have the ability in our own office, we will handle getting the right people for you. So, but we design offices, office buildings, office fit outs, and we actually serve almost the entire United States. But we are a relatively startup. The background was for over 20 years. I worked for other firms, larger firms, and finally decided to break away and start off on our own. So we're almost at the 1-year mark of our company.
Very nice.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Yosef Kiteo. You're new here. We don't see your picture here, but welcome to the RBBN, Yosef. You there? Okay, we'll give him another chance in a minute. Okay, we're down at the end of the list here. We'll come back to him if he's able to get back on. Oh, David, I see you just joined in the nick of time. So David Jassy, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
What'd you say? Introduce myself?
Yep, introduce yourself.
David Jassy, DMJ Studios in New York. Video production, anything from social media to virtual events. We've been in the business for like 25 years. Very excited about all the new developments in video. We're helping out a lot of people. And I want to give a big shout out to this networking group. After the last networking group, I interacted with a nonprofit organization. We're talking about doing videos for them. I'm interacting with another guy who's potentially going to do some SEO for us. I spoke to another woman and she got me in front of a high school to speak to all the kids. And there's probably one or two other things that resulted from the last time. So big yash koach to you, Heshy. This networking thing is real tachlis. I'm parts of one or two others where you get on, you see a bunch of people and not much happens, but a lot's been happening. So yash koach and thank you. So if anybody needs any help with anything video, we're here. And what we're looking for is partners in digital marketing because we do great films and they're not as effective if they don't get out there. So we're always interested in talking to people who do digital marketing, which could be Facebook ads, could be YouTube ads, could be LinkedIn. We dabble in all those areas. We do it pretty well, but we're looking for partners.
Thank you, David. Thank you for thank you for your kind words as well. And I just, you know, a lot of people have said that, you know, they've gotten real good business leads from the group, from our networking. And, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of quality professionals that are here, network-minded people. And the idea is that, you know, you just connect with them, look at the spreadsheet where you get all the information of who they are, what they are, and you'll hopefully grow the business that way. That's really just, it's really following up with everybody you see here and trying to make good leads and contacts. And with that note, again, anybody who came later didn't fill out the spreadsheet, look in the comments for the spreadsheet as well. I'm going to add it to the comments one more time to everyone, and just click on that link, fill your name and information out there, and that will always be available even after the meeting. Is there anyone here that did not get a chance to introduce himself? Please go ahead and do so now before we start the main part of the program.
Hey, Heshy, it's Chaim Jacobson here.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chaim, go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
So for those of you who don't know me, Hugh Chaim Jacobson, my firm, Allen J. Strauss, PC or CPA, one or the other. We are CPAs and attorneys. On the CPA side, we're a full-service CPA firm, you know, from bookkeeping to tax returns and anything in between. On the legal side, we specialize in tax matters, real estate, and estate matters. So if you need representation before any of the taxing authorities or any real estate transactions or documents or surrogates court work, we can provide that to you. Our ideal client is someone who we can provide multiple services to. So we can do their bookkeeping, their tax returns, their real estate transactions, and so on. And I just want to echo what everyone said before about this group. While I haven't gotten any real business yet from this group, I have built some relationships and had many conversations with people, which I think at some point will lead to real business. So this group does definitely work. And I'm not a very active LinkedIner, but still, you can still build those relationships through this group.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chaim. Okay, anyone else? Last chance for anyone else who did not have a chance to introduce himself. Okay, so actually, again, I do this all the time myself. I forget to introduce myself. I did in the beginning. My name is Heshy Friedman, Radial Creations. I work together with Yitzie Pariser. I run a web design firm. We produce professional websites, and the idea is that your company needs to present themselves professionally online. Everybody is doing a Google search. They're seeing who you are, what you are, and you need to present yourself well, because that is ultimately how people are going to, that's the first impression they're going to get of your company. They want to see how you represent yourself. So what we do is we do customized websites that help give your website a professional look and feel to make sure that you build your business properly. A website is one of the main tools in today's business arsenal. So you want to make sure that it's done well, not just a template, stock site, which many companies do and they get stuck with. So I'm Heshy Friedman. I help produce those sites to make you look professional. Okay. Without further ado, I'm going to take this opportunity now to introduce our guest speaker, Naphtali Hoff. Naphtali is I got to know Naphtali through LinkedIn, and then I've been following his material online. He has very good material that he shares relating to some of the things that really spoke to me were delegation and proper business practice and development. And again, they spoke to me, and I see he produces content regularly. He has workshops, and he just has very, very valuable material to share. And I figured he'd be a very good person to introduce to our group, tell us about some of his ideas and things, share some of his strategies, just let him give these thoughts over to everybody. And that's my introduction to Naphtali. And I think you can all learn from him tremendously. And Naphtali, why don't you just tell us about yourself first before you start with the program?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you, Heshy. Thank you, Yitzie. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me a few minutes with you. Just wanted to clarify, we're talking about, let's say, about 20 minutes now, and then the possibility of asking questions on the back end, correct? Okay. So very quickly about myself, I'm a former, I guess you could even say current educator in a way, a different form than before, and school leader turned executive coach. I focus intently on helping leaders and businesses be more productive. And so I think that's what Heshy, to a large degree, was referring to, a lot of the tips and tools and whatnot for productivity. In fact, I have for you quite a few different resources that I'm going to send to you through the chat shortly. And I'll explain to you what all of those are. But before I do all of that, what I'm focusing on right now, besides for helping individual clients with productivity and other things that I just mentioned, is I'm also running mastermind groups. And mastermind groups, for those of you not familiar, are professional networks and cohorts that are very tightly designed. So in other words, it's the same people who meet week after week. And the intent is to both support, problem solve, so that you bring your sticky problems to the group, people offer solutions, and of course, to provide resources and ideas and learning and strategies and all of this sort. So anyone who is interested in potentially being part of a group that is going to meet regularly, not as a networking platform per se, but going really deep with individuals who are operating in a similar space, who are struggling in a similar way, who you'd like to pick their brains and have them pick yours and kind of, help one another. That is something that I do quite a bit of, and I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. So a quick mention of what I just popped into your chat. First of all, I have a free delegation webinar that I just released. It was designed, in full disclosure, primarily for school leaders, but between me and you and the lamppost, it's about 98 to 99% relevant to everybody. I'm just using school leader language, but the core concepts are universal. I shared with you a link to my blog. I'm actually in the process of building out a blueprint, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and I'm rolling out blog posts on a regular basis that go deeper on different elements of productivity. So if you want to sign up for the blog, you can be alerted every week when new content comes out. A lot of it is productivity specific. For those of you who didn't take it yet, I just shared a link to my productivity assessment. All of this, by the way, is free. You could take it, you can get a quick sense of what you are, how effective you are currently in terms of your productivity and ways that you may be able to become more productive. The blueprint is a downloadable PDF, separate place on the website, another link, and that has a 5-step process. We'll talk about that soon. And then an ebook for those of you who are actually dealing with stress in your life and are managing through it. And of course, in COVID, stress is ever present. I also included a link to a free workplace stress ebook that you could download and learn more about how do you manage personal stress, how do you manage workplace stress for yourself, for your team members, etc. So hopefully these.
So if I could just interrupt, we're going to send these links as well in the email follow.
Yeah, we're going to send them out. I just wanted you to have them now. You want to click on them, look at them, try not to get too distracted by them, because that of course would reduce your productivity. But if you wanted quick access, you could click on it and then keep it open in a window for later consideration. Okay, so that's that. Now, Heshy, are we just doing this sort of verbal here, or would you rather that I share a screen with some, let's call it visualization?
As whatever you feel is more productive, right? It's all about productivity.
You know what? Let's start just with the conversation.
Okay.
And if we want to upload the PowerPoint, we can. I've got plenty of content to share, but not enough time, which of course is what productivity management is all about, right? We have a lot we want to do, but not a lot of time to get it done. So one thing I want to
let's do before we start, before you actually start it, let's do some pictures here. If everybody could, let's get some pictures of everybody. You can take a screenshot of Zoom. You can get the whole group, take a screenshot. Everybody smile. We're gonna take screenshots, and then you can share it together on LinkedIn or whatever platforms you share it on. It's good to. This is all part of networking. Okay, so I'm gonna put on the gallery view, everybody. So just take different snapshots of it. We'll get everybody here smiling. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Take a print screen. And then feel free to share it on LinkedIn or anywhere else that you want to share it. Okay, that's number one. Let's do another photo as well of, let's get Naphtali. Hold on. Turn off the view, gallery view. Hold on. Turn off the gallery view and go back onto speaker view. Okay, well, it's kind of boring just you by yourself here. Hang on a second. Okay. Naphtali, smile.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, everybody can capture that screenshot. Let me go next to you as well. Hold on.
You're on the speaker view now.
There we go. Okay, everybody smile. We're gonna get a picture here. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Everybody share the pictures. Go ahead, share it online, promote the program, promote the event. You'll promote Naphtali as well, and it's all good for everybody. Okay.
Okay, so before we dive in, Heshy, are we good?
We're good.
Okay, fantastic. So one thing that I thought was just a nice little thing that we could kind of latch on to and remember is just the word down, D-O-W-N. It's not an acronym, at least not for my purposes, but it really represents 2 simple strategies that if you utilize them consistently will serve you tremendously. I heard it from Jim Rohn, who I think was quoting Zig Ziglar, but I'm not certain. Anyway, if these names don't mean anything to you, we'll leave it for a rainy day. Actually, we have one now. So I guess that was a bad choice. But either way, so one down refers to write it down. And the other one is to break it down. Okay. And I mean that in the conventional sense, not in the hip hop sense of the term. So write it down means whatever you want to accomplish, get it down on a piece of paper. We can talk shortly about to-do lists, whether you should or should not use them, the challenges of to-do lists, MITs, all sorts of things we'll get to soon. The other one is to break it down. So if you have a big goal, let's say, for example, you want to write a book, or you want to expand your sales team, or you want to add a component to your business, or whatever it might be, sometimes these goals are so big and so scary and have so many different components, many of which we don't know or don't feel fully comfortable executing, that it shuts us down. And as a result, we don't take action. So if you want to take action on anything meaningful, you want to break it down into digestible components. And then you want to turn it into a goal. You know what, Heshy, I think it may be better if you haven't already, giving me permission to be able to, do I have the capacity to share my screen?
Let me make you a co-host. And that way,
so let's do that, because I do want to show you a couple of things here. And please also do issue for me a 5-minute warning. That's, by the way, when I will accelerate into that speed you hear at the end of those auto commercials. When it kind of like, I'm a former teacher, so I know what it's like to teach 38 minutes of content in 2 minutes after having babbled on for 38 prior to that. Anyway,
you should be able to share your screen now.
I have it. Okay, I see that. Thank you so much. Let's do it over here. All right, I need to go back in this PowerPoint to where I started. I sort of got lost in it before. Okay, so this blueprint that I talked about. So anyway, to review before I share anything additional, writing it down is important because obviously we have a lot of things across our plate all the time, a lot of things that come through our phone. And if we're not mindful of keeping it all in front of us, then things can quickly get past us. I'm in the process of onboarding for a new mastermind group, and I'm just keeping a regular log. Who am I speaking with, and what did they say, and who do I need to get back to, and how frequently? Because if I don't, I know that I'm going to drop some people, potential participants along the way, and that's obviously bad for business. So write it down and then break it down. Break it down, of course, again, is taking bigger tasks and making them smaller, more manageable, and then adding goals to those. So with that little introduction, let me spend a few minutes, please, just giving you the 5 steps to increase productivity based on my blueprint and based on what my research has led me to understand what it is that helps us to be most productive. Now, this was designed with leaders and teams in mind, meaning to say people who are running companies with multiple people in the office. And so there are 5 steps. Step number 1 is plan it, which means to say before you dive into any work, the more and effective planning you do on the front end, the better. Getting really clear on what is the task you need to be doing, what is the process that's going to lead you to the outcome that you want, and of course, what is that outcome? So you need to know, right? You need to know from the beginning where you want to go. Otherwise, as I think it was Yogi Berra that said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? And of course, that's not the road we want to be on. Step number 2 is once you have that plan, you want to share it with others with regular meetings, regular communication. That includes one-to-one meetings. It includes morning huddles. It includes the ability to delegate to others. And by the way, I strongly, strongly encourage you, we're not going to have time to dive into it. We don't have time to dive into anything really, but delegation is absolutely critical if you want to be successful. I know Yehuda's on the call and he talks about, he has a company that supplies VAs, and I utilize a bunch of VAs as well. Whatever it is that you need to do to ensure that you are doing the work that you are uniquely positioned and gifted to do, and then delegating other work to others that others can do without you having to take direct responsibility or direct oversight of that work, can be a huge game changer for all of us. And many of us are hesitant to do it because of the costs involved, but I will tell you that if you can find ways to leverage your time in selling, leverage your time in building your business, leverage your time in creating the big ticket opportunities that your business needs, and you're not doing all the little things, whether it's your regular social media management or other things that oftentimes we outsource so that we can do our very best work, that's a major, major game changer. And I would strongly encourage all of you to think about how can you delegate more. Number 3 is do it. And here we want to talk about mono-idealism, which stated simply means we don't want to be multitasking. We don't want to be trying to do too many things. We want to remove distractions. We have never been more distracted as a society, right? Just think about the things that cross your plate every single day, besides for your actual work. Think about social media. Think about people who are calling you, texting you, WhatsApp, whatever platforms you are using, other responsibilities outside of work, constant distractions. And while we think that our technology is designed to help us be more efficient, for the most part, people who don't utilize it properly find it to be more harmful than helpful. So being able to control your technology and not the opposite is very important. Number 4 is to sustain it, right? No matter what it is that you want to accomplish, you can be gung-ho at the beginning, but if you don't have a plan to sustain it, taking care of yourself, taking care of team members, developing a mindset that ensures continuity, you're not going to stay with it for long. So it's critical that you have a plan for how are you going to sustain this beyond the initial enthusiasm. And then the last part is more about leadership and how leaders can leverage their skills, their abilities to motivate, to create the right kind of work environment, and to engage others. Now, with that introduction, I want to dive more specifically into step number 1, and then hopefully with time permitting, step number 3, and that's it. Because if you can accomplish these 2, I think it's going to be a win for everybody, no matter if you're a solopreneur or if you serve others or work with others as well. So planning is really important, right? We need to know what are the right tasks, how do we manage and prioritize our to-do lists to make sure that we're doing the right work, and how do we turn things into goals that motivate us and move us in the right direction. Those are the 3 of these 5 components that I'd like to focus on. And again, I'm going to do it real quick in the interest of time. So identifying the right tasks, you might be familiar with the term the big rocks. You might have seen Stephen Covey do this illustration where you've got rocks and pebbles and sand and water and all sorts of things on a table. And he challenges somebody from the audience to fill it all within a glass container. And one person comes up and the next person comes up and they cannot get it all in. And the ultimate solution is put the rocks in first. Because if you put the big rocks in first, then everything else can fall in around it. The pebbles and then the sand and then the water, it all fills in one on top of the other. So within your work, you want to be asking yourself, what are the tasks that if I do these and these only, will produce the most meaningful and positive result for me. They're known as MIT's most important tasks. This is also known as the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, that 20% of my activities for the most part have been found to produce 80% of my benefits of my ROI. So every day you want to ask yourself, what are the 2 to 3 most important things? Even the night before is better because your subconscious can then work on it. What are the 2 to 3 most important things that if I do these and I do them well, they're going to move the needle for me the most? Brian Tracy talks about eating that frog, right? You don't want to do it, but you do it because you know that once it's done, it's going to have the most positive benefit for you. So that's what you want to be asking yourself. And you want to also say, well, what is the ROI or the task value in any one thing that I'm going to do? Is this really important? And you have a log over here. Let's see if I have it right on the next slide. I don't recall. Hang on one second. No, I have it a little bit later. But let's see if I can scroll to it real quick. Is it here even? I have it somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So when you talk about your activities, you want to say to yourself, what are my priorities? And what is more important? What's going to accomplish or achieve more for me? Okay, so that's number one, right? Number one, sorry for sliding back and forth here. Number one is to do your most important tasks. Number two is to manage and prioritize your to-do list. Now, to-do lists are common. I'd have to open up the screen here to see if I could ask everybody to just weigh in, but it's not complying with me. Let's see if I expand it way out. Okay, just for a moment. How many of you keep a to-do list? You just raise your hand for a second if you do. Okay, so almost everybody does. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping a to-do list per se, but if you want a real foolproof strategy or something that's going to help you even more, I strongly encourage you to block out your time. So that's number one. In other words, if you have a task that you know you need to do, put it on your calendar. So if you need to make sales calls, put it on your calendar. Literally block out 30, 60, 90 minutes, depending on what the task is. Get it on your calendar, have a date or a meeting with yourself, and literally say, this is all I'm going to do during this period of time. Now, how do you get to that? That's because you have your to-do list. And you decide, I'm going to prioritize my to-do list based on, again, the things that are most important, right? So if I don't sell, I don't eat. So I'm imagining for many of you, if not for all of you, selling is probably your number one priority. And if that is the case, you need to be selling every single day, right? You're selling directly and you're selling indirectly. The direct sales are calling people up, emailing them. I have a service. I have something I can offer you. I'd like for you to please consider it, that conversation. But you're also doing indirect selling all the time. You might be familiar with Dan Pink and his book, To Sell is Human, right? Every time you interact in a networking event, every time you interact on LinkedIn or elsewhere, you are selling and you are creating an opportunity for people to get to know you, and you're creating an opportunity for people to want to work with you, or the opposite. All of that is possible. So when you are really clear on the fact, let's say you want to sell, so then you're going to start to prioritize. And there are some challenges with to-do lists. So I just want to go through those quickly since all of you are keeping them. Number one is that to-do lists tend to be a big task dump, right? Everything I need to do winds up on the to-do list. And the question becomes, of course, how do I prioritize? Another issue is that it's hard for me to estimate how long things will actually take. And so as a result, we don't feel like we're making progress and the list keeps growing and growing. And that is a very empty feeling. So we want to avoid situations where we feel like we're just sort of losing the battle against our to-do list. And as a result, the solutions here, they're pretty straightforward, no rocket science. But again, as I mentioned before, the first one is most important. Ask yourself, of everything on this to-do list, which is going to have the biggest outcome? So if sales are number one, that's got to be at the top of your list every single day. And you have to have a goal and you have to have it blocked out, as we talked about, because when you do that, you can focus and you could achieve. Number two, keep your list short and remove the ever-present things that just aren't getting done, or maybe find somebody else to do them, because you might choose not to do them. You don't know how, or you don't feel comfortable, or you feel it's just not the most important thing. So it just sits there, but it does need to get done. So you might choose at that point to outsource it so that it gets done, but not necessarily by you. Okay, so quickly to recap, before we talk about anything else, we talked about the 5 steps: plan it, share it, do it, sustain it, and lead it. And we're focusing specifically on step number one, which is plan it. So knowing what I need to accomplish, knowing which tasks are most important that will have the biggest positive outcome, keeping it front and center on my to-do list, blocking it out on my calendar, setting a SMART goal, which is our next item over here. All of those are going to help us. And by the way, you do want your goals to be SMART because otherwise they tend to become what we call fuzzies. And fuzzies are not helpful. So anything, if you talk, for example, I had somebody who emailed me this morning in response to one of my products, and he said, I want to build workplace relationships. I want to improve relationships with my people, or maybe you want to improve relationships with your clients, or maybe you want to improve relationships with potential clients, right? You want to build relationships with them. So what does that look like, right? How do I go about setting a goal about building relationships? So you need to be very specific and intentional about what that looks like. And therefore you'll know when you've done it that you actually can say, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't. Okay. So if I want to build effective relationships, I might reach out to X number of people every single day. I might schedule X number of lunch meetings every single week. I may schedule something else every single so often. So I've got an interval, it's time bound. It's relevant to me because it's going to help me grow my business. It's something that's within my capacity to do, so it's attainable, achievable. You see, I'm sort of working backwards here. It's measurable because I put a number to it, right? I'm going to make X number of calls. That's a measurable, quantifiable metric or goal. And the specific thing is that I or somebody else, right? I have a who, I have the behavior that they're going to do, which is the what. I have all the specifics in place. So this way it's very clear as to what's going to be accomplished. I'll share one more thing here, and then I'm going to quickly pivot and then give you the opportunity for questions. So I talk about the specific. Here's an example of a fully written SMART goal, which is designed to do something a little bit larger. You might recall we talked earlier that sometimes when I have big goals, they don't get done because they're too overwhelming, right? So here's an example. I've got to write a proposal. And anyone who's written a business proposal for the first time, for example, knows that they could be very arduous to do with all of the technicalities, the pricing, the legalities, whatever is necessary. But I know that this proposal is really important because I want to reel in this big fish, and I cannot do it without a proposal. So I've written out the goal here in detailed fashion so you see very clearly what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So in order to complete a proposal, which is my specific goal, I will set aside 30 minutes at the outset of each morning for the next 4 days for in-depth, uninterrupted work. And by the way, I'm going to calendar that. So 8:30 to 9 or 9 to 9:30, whatever it is, or maybe even earlier when nobody's in the office, right? I'm going to work on this proposal every single day, Monday through Thursday. By completing this important task first thing in the morning, I can do it while my mind is freshest and still attend to many other tasks and responsibilities afterwards. So now I've given it some importance, and I've added a sort of like a motivator for me to do this when I want to do it, because oftentimes we sit down and we let our inbox and we let our social media feeds dictate our day, and that is a big mistake. During this time, I will not answer phone calls, respond to emails or texts, or engage in any form of web surfing or social media, posting or things of this sort. That's how I'm going to achieve it. When the proposal is completed, I will feel as if a huge burden has been lifted from my shoulders and that I'm infinitely closer to closing this deal. That is how I will feel. And by the way, when you add an emotional, visionary element to your goal, if you imagine what it's going to be like on the other side of achieving that goal from the beginning, you will have a much greater feeling of motivation to achieve it. So that's the planning piece. The other one, which I think I already, you know what, I'm not even going to show it to you because I've talked about it a bunch of times. When you want to get things done, take your phone and minimally silence it, put it to the side. Even having it in front of you could be a distraction. Try to allow yourself the benefit of being fully present for everything that you want to do. And remind yourself why it is that this is important. Because if you don't, then all sorts of other things that seem to be important, when all the dopamine is being triggered, when our minds are getting excited about the next like or the next text or the next whatever, we will allow ourselves to get distracted unless we convince ourselves that the things that we are working on right now are the most important things that we could be doing for ourselves and for our businesses. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, you may not do it for yourself, but think about the people that you are serving, or maybe the people that you are feeding, right? You know, I think, what's his name now? Grant Cardone talks about this, and others talk about it as well. Sometimes you do that extra sales call, you do that extra amount of effort, not because you would do it for yourself, but because others are relying on you. And ultimately they need you to fill the pipeline for you to be successful, for them to be successful. So that's an added motivator as well. So Heshy, I don't know if we're fully at the 20-minute threshold. How much time do we have, if any, or do you want me to open up the floor for questions?
I would say let's do 5 more minutes if you can. I think this is important stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, we could spend hours on this. I think there's very beneficial material here.
Okay.
But I people have to get back to work. But I think
Yes.
I think you're going strong. So let's do another 5 minutes before we take questions.
Fine, no problem at all. Let me just get this slide up for everybody to see. I do want you to be familiar with this. Let me see if I can get everybody on the screen here. If you could just use your, this has been, by the way, totally not my presentation style. I'm usually extremely interactive. 20 minutes becomes one of those things which sort of like forces me to really zone in on my content and not ask you to participate as much. Just with 5 being very, very familiar and 1 being, or actually a fist, being not at all familiar, how would you self-assess yourself regarding this particular slide? This is known as the Eisenhower matrix. This is known by Stephen Covey as the urgent important matrix. Fist means I have no idea. 5 is super solid. And of course, you could be somewhere in between. Can everybody respond, please? I do see you on your cameras, and I would appreciate if you could just hold it up for a moment. Okay, so there's a good range of responses. Some 5s, which might mean I'm going to ask them to explain it instead. But I'm not going to put anyone on the spot. So these are known, by the way, as the 4 Ds. The 4 Ds. And by the way, I happen to like 3 of the words out of the 4. I don't like quadrant 2's word, and I'll explain why in a second. So urgent and important is do. Okay, do it. Like, so for example, I was going to work on my presentation for today for this workshop previously, but then I came down with something and I was basically knocked out of commission over Shabbos, and I'm still recovering. So what was a defer, which is important but not urgent, became a do, which is I've got this presentation in an hour, I better get my act together. Okay, because sometimes a do could be the result of procrastination. But often do is things like you've got an important client on the other end of this call. You need to pick up the phone now, right? You need to respond to this problem immediately. You're dealing with, you service in telecom and the system is down, or there's an important deadline coming up and you must respond to it. That's quadrant 1. We never want to be living in quadrant 1. We have to visit it, and we sometimes have to visit it more often than we like, especially in a pandemic, but we don't want to be living here. As leaders, we want to be operating in quadrant 2, which is defer. Now, I don't love the word defer because defer sounds like I'm kicking the can down the road, and that is not the intent. But the idea is that this is really where leadership should be operating first and foremost, meaning to say the planning, the creativity, the strategy. How am I going to grow my business? Not necessarily doing the actual minute-to-minute work, but helping to think about how your business is going to scale. Who am I going to be reaching out to that's going to be a difference maker for me as I grow? That would be in the important. Obviously, those are very important things I just mentioned, but not necessarily urgent. Okay, that's quadrant 2. Quadrant number 3, which is not important but urgent, are things that have to happen pretty much now, but not necessarily by you. And that's where delegation fits in. By the way, if you really want to learn more about delegation, I encourage you to grab a copy of Leadership in the 1-Minute Manager from Ken Blanchard. It's an easy read, and it talks about situational leadership, because delegation is really based off of the knowledge and the motivation of the delegatee, meaning the person you're delegating to, as much as anything else. So at the beginning, you may need to do more direction, meaning to say, do this, do that. And over time, you're going to support and then coach until eventually you actually can delegate. Delegate, as defined by Blanchard, means you're basically handing it to them and say, you do this because you can. Now, I have VAs that started with a lot of direction that are now holding by delegation because they know what to do. and we've gone through the process enough times that they're properly trained. And then delete are the things you really don't want to be doing at all, or very, very little, or if you're going to do them, do them during breaks, during downtime, and you have to know your own energy levels, right? Do your best work when you're most energized, do lighter work when you're at a lull, and we all have them throughout the course of our day. We typically can predict when they're going to come. So if you can master your calendar, again, this is a nice intersection with the activity log. Ask yourself, when you do different activities, which quadrant do they belong to? Where do they fit? You want to be doing as much Q2 work as you possibly can. Q1 means things sort of crept up on you, or you just couldn't control it, because sometimes things do happen. And again, no fault of yours if you're doing Q1 work in that context. But Q3, which is delegate, and Q4 for sure, delete, you don't want to be doing much of, if at all. You want to be positioning other people, if anyone, to do that kind of work so that you could be doing the work that will most produce the best results. Probably a good place, Heshy, to pause, I think, for questions. Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, we can go on forever over here.
We really could.
Okay.
I have a whole master class that I've produced on this. And so like you could just see I'm pulling stuff from different places, but there's so much to talk about. One thing I would tell all of you before we answer any questions, please write down 2 things that you heard today from what I shared that would be most useful for you, things you feel you could utilize. I'll briefly talk about them, just mention them as you're thinking about what to write. We talked about MIT's most important tasks. We talked about managing your to-do list. We talked about the big rocks and the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. We talked about the 4 Ds, right? Urgent and important matrix. We talked a little bit about delegation. What 2 things do you think, and maybe you could type it into the chat with 1 or 2 word responses. Do you think if you took action on those, we talked about SMART goals, how to set goals, especially big ones. We talked about writing it down and breaking it down. Which are the 2 things that you feel would have the most positive impact, or minimally, you're most prepared to take action on, that's going to ultimately help you do more of the right work? As well as reduce stress and get home in a decent hour.
Everybody can mention that in the chat. You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's a great place to put it. Seems like MITs and 4Ds are getting some love right now, which is good. Okay. And that's fine. Whatever works for you. Blocking time, delegation. Okay. Mastering. For those of you interested in delegation, so I shared with you that webinar link. I would encourage you to go there. The matrix, big rocks. Okay, nice. Are there any questions for me?
Yep.
Any challenges you're dealing with that are productivity specific that you'd like to ask?
Feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
David?
Yeah, Naphtali, for whatever it's worth, you asked who could teach those 4 quadrants. I could teach a lot of this stuff. The challenge is to actually do it.
Correct.
So when the same question that you asked us, I'm kind of asking of you, if there was 1 or 2 things that you would say is a pillar of being able to execute any of this stuff once you already know it, what would you say that is?
Great question. And thank you for flipping it on its head. I like that. So it wakes me up at this hour. So number 1, I would say blocking out your calendar, I think is a big one, because I feel that when you are singularly focused on something specific and you cannot be interrupted, and when I say block out your calendar, I mean, on the other side of that is remove your distractions, power down your phone, make yourself inaccessible. If you have the benefit, sorry, of a secretary or somebody who could reach you when nobody else can, that's a really good thing, because this way, some people feel like, well, how can I go completely offline? I run a business. But if there is a way for somebody to access you when he or she determines you really need to be accessed, but absent that, you're going to be left alone, then you could dive deep. So I think that the piece of giving yourself and by the way, giving yourself the permission to be inaccessible to grow your business, right? Sometimes we almost feel like we don't have permission to do it because people are dependent on us, or we have to be around and accessible all the time. You don't have to be. You have the right to be serving yourself. Imagine, for example, that you were at a networking event right? You scheduled a networking lunch. You weren't available during this time. You're using it to grow your business. So this is the same concept.
Shkoch, thank you.
Sure.
Hi, this is Michael. Thank you, Naphtali, for such great content here. In your estimation, is there I guess like a saturation point where, all right, enough planning and thinking about this, it's time to roll up your sleeves? Because I mean, I find that sometimes I can get kind of caught in the weeds of just trying to think I could spend the whole day planning my day, and then before I turn around, all the other constraints come in and the day is almost over.
Excellent
Great
question.
Yeah, great question. So one thing I will tell you, it depends on why it happens for you. Did you say your name is Michael?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not seeing you. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so Michael, I think it's a great question. And I would say one thing that's important is that oftentimes we have this tendency to want to achieve perfection. And perfection is the enemy of a lot of what we're trying to accomplish. We need to go for excellent, but not perfection. Because in the pursuit of perfection, we're dotting every I, we're crossing every T, we're never satisfied. There's always something we could do better, and then we never execute. You need to be able to, everyone who I've ever heard who has done anything meaningful in their life, especially in the coaching and self-development and growth space, talks about just taking massive purposeful action and let the chips fall where they may. It's not going to always be perfect. You're going to have to go back and adjust, but be willing to just put yourself out there and get your products going and roll with it. So hopefully you could determine at what point you're just close enough. Like I just rolled something out. Again, this whole webinar and whatnot behind it, a launch that I'm in the process of doing. I know it's not perfect. I know it can be better. And I want it to be better over time. And I'm going to go back and make it better over time. But right now I didn't want it to just sit there. Not only am I paying money for ClickFunnels and paying money for MailChimp and paying money for all these different things that are back-end stuff that I needed, but more importantly, I wanted to serve the community that I feel I can serve. And if I keep it to myself, waiting for that perfect moment, everybody else is sitting there saying, I need to be more productive and help me out. And I'm not providing that. So I put it out there, and I'm hopeful that people feel that, that they can run with it even in the current form.
Thank you.
Sure. Pleasure.
Any other questions?
Michelle?
Yes, I have a question. You said something that really resonated with me. You said that we should try to apply an emotional vision to the most important tasks.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you if you can just elaborate on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, oftentimes the work itself is not fun, right? It's not necessarily glamorous. So if we have a vision of how am I going to feel when this is done, and that be something as simple as relief, right? It might feel exhilaration. It might feel like I'm achieving something. The more you can attach emotion to it, and also who else you would, who else will stand to benefit from this work? Because as I said before, sometimes we wouldn't do it for ourselves. Let's take physical fitness, for example. I know, I believe it was Michael who said that that's his expertise. And he probably, if I gave him the mic, he probably could talk about this for a while. But sometimes we don't necessarily pursue physical fitness for ourselves, right? Maybe we're not super motivated to get into shape or super motivated to eat healthy because it's just not so enjoyable. But we think about our families, right? We think about the people who we love, who love us, who are dependent on us, who need us, right? So that is a motivator for me that goes beyond my own self-motivation. So sometimes, Michelle, if you say to yourself, well, who's going to benefit from this? And who can I serve as a result of getting this done? So we talk about that proposal, right? So the proposal will allow me to serve more clients. It'll allow me to, I don't know, whatever the outcome, depending, of course, on the nature of the proposal and the deal that we're talking about. That creates a whole different framework than just going through the drudgery of completing that proposal. It's like the whole vision behind it. So that can be a big motivator when the vision itself is not so motivating. On the other hand, I do want to caution everyone. I'm just going to grab this for the purpose of illustration. I wrote this book, Becoming the New Boss, a number of years ago. And I will tell you that it was a lot of work to get it done. But when I finished, I was, of course, very excited for about a day, maybe two. And then it's like there's this drop off. So I want to caution everyone that life is funny in that way, right? We're motivated, we're excited, we want to accomplish, and then we get there and we're like, that's it? Now what? And we have to think of ourselves as being on a continuous journey of growth, a continuous journey of service. And if we think about it in that way, we never, quote, achieve success. We're on a constant journey towards success. And we have to let the totality of our life's story indicate retroactively if we were truly successful. But you don't just arrive and sort of sit on this plateau like at the Olympics, right? I'm the epitome of success. I've achieved it, and now I'm done, right? We all know that the human condition is such where we always want to do more. So it's sort of like the balance or the dance we're engaged in all the time.
Naphtali, can you please share the links for those books that they talked about?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not now. We'll do it later from the email.
Yeah, with pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, should we go into a breakout room?
Yes. Okay. So at this point, let's all go into breakout rooms here. Here's how the breakout rooms work. We're gonna have 5-minute sessions. We're gonna just do random breakout rooms, and then we're gonna go 5 minutes, and then go to the next breakout room. It's already 10:50, so we'll
I think we should do one breakout room because it's getting late.
Okay, fine. Sounds good. Okay, let's do that right now. And Naphtali,
Actually, if you don't mind, I have to jump off. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for your time.
Thank you.
and the
Thank you,
opportunity
Naphtali.
to be
Thank you
with
very,
you.
very much.
If I could be of service, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Naphtali, please add your LinkedIn.
I think I did. I think it's
Okay.
added. If not, I'll add it afterwards.
Anybody who they can connect to you and
Yeah.
follow
If
up.
you didn't fill out the sheet yet, please do so now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.